Kaimba, Kaina, all power, all power. Thank you very much, comrades. Thank you very much, delegates. Thank you for the opportunity, Comrade Chairperson. Chairperson of the province, Comrade David Mabuza, brand new from the box. Provincial Secretary, Comrade Mandla Ndlovu, and all newly elected leadership of the province. Members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC deployed to this conference, ANC Youth League President, leaders of the South African Communist Party, COSATU and SANCO, the leadership of the ANC Women's League, the leadership of the ANC Youth League, the leadership of the ANC Veterans League, the leadership of the MKMVA, traditional leaders who are with us here, religious leaders, leadership of the ANC at all levels, our invited guests, comrades, delegates, comrades and friends. I'm emphasizing one of these, the leadership of the ANC in all levels. One of the mistakes we make is to think that you are only a leader if you are elected in a specific position. If you are a leader of the ANC, you are a leader of the ANC. At all levels. The levels might differ, but the leadershipness is there. You can't say a person that you once elected either as the secretary or as the president or not president in the province. We used to have them before the ANC was banned. The chairperson, that when they are not, they cease to be leaders. They are in fact leaders. The only difference is that they don't have portfolios. That's why they are always expected to play a role in the organization, a leadership role, not a designated, specific kind of leadership. The leadership as a leadership, collective leadership. Comrades, receive warm and heartfelt revolutionary greetings from the National Executive Committee of the ANC. Let me begin by congratulating Mpumalanga on a most successful provincial conference. Generally and specifically, this is what is expected of ANC conferences. A conference should be exemplary to the general membership. A conference should depict the nature of the ANC. A conference should be a gathering which is important, and it must make itself important by the manner in which it conducts itself. You have done so. We congratulate all who have been elected to lead the ANC in this important province, which has been a stronghold of our glorious movement for decades. It was at this province, among others, that the underground struggles of our people against the racist regime were intense and were carried out despite danger and risk to life and limb of our cadres. Many who went deep into the country went through this province and were indeed assisted by the underground structures here to pass through safely. Mpumalanga is thus a province of heroes and heroines. We congratulate you for keeping that tradition of struggle alive. This time, the struggle to improve the quality of life of our people. A struggle that you can think is easier, but is the most difficult one. Comrades, we meet here just a week after we commemorated the second anniversary since the passing of our stalwart, father of our nation and comrade, commander-in-chief of Umkhonto weSizwe, President Nelson Mandela. He led a remarkable life as a human being and as a leader. He contributed immensely to the revolution that brought about our freedom. We, the living, will continue learning from the book of his exemplary life. Comrades, this conference also took place during a year that we declared at the beginning that it would be a year of the Freedom Charter and unity in action to advance economic freedom. This theme is underpinned by the fact that this year marks 60 years since the adoption of the visionary document, the Freedom Charter, by the Congress of the People in Kliptown in 1955. Further, the 53rd National Conference in Mangaung committed us to unite in action towards socio-economic freedom. To achieve economic transformation, we need a strong and united ANC. The ANC is the pulse of the nation, and it is a way of life for our people. It is the only organization that has the policies and programs that can change South Africa for the better. Freedom Charter was and remains the most practical tool to articulate our common hopes, dreams, and aspirations for a future South Africa we all wanted to live in. The nature and character of the society we seek is a society that is non-racial, non-sexist, prosperous, and democratic. In this regard, the resolutions taken at this conference should enhance the movement towards these goals. Each year, we must move forward in a visible manner towards attaining a better life for our people. Comrades, this conference met at the closing of the nationwide campaign of 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children. The impact of such a crucial campaign can be enhanced by the role played by our branches. This is important because our branches are strategically located in the communities, and they are the basic units of our organization. They therefore give life to our campaigns on the ground. If the branches are not active in our campaigns cannot touch the hearts and minds of our people sufficiently in the communities. Branches must be part of our campaigns. We must therefore ensure the repositioning of our branches to be at the center of every community activity. This is necessary because it will be a practical expression of what we imply when we refer to the ANC as the leader of the society. Comrade Chair, in the ANC, conferences are very important because it is through them that we take stock of the road traveled, the challenges we face along the way, and how do we best confront what lies ahead. Conferences offer us an opportunity to renew ourselves and take decisions that are binding for all members. Sizwe kahle le ndaba. Sizwanga kahle ngiphini. Comrade Chair, in the ANC, conferences are very important because it is through them that we take stock of the road traveled. In other words, since the last conference, how have we been? How have we worked? How have we implemented the resolutions and our programs? A conference gives us that opportunity. In other words, The word, the road traveled, is summarizing all of that. Challenges we faced along the way, and how do we best confront what lies ahead? In other words, the conference gives the ANC, as a big meeting, an opportunity to say what are the challenges that face us as the ANC, whether it is in the branch or region or zone or province or national. These tasks are common. How best can we confront them? And what lies ahead? Very important understanding that all of us we should have. But the conference is not just a coming together for the sake of it. It has very specific expectations. That's why there will always be a political report and an organizational report and a financial report, which then says to the organization, let us discuss, because those reports will, in a sense, give us the picture of what has happened. What is the health of the organization? Is it sick? Where have been the failures? Where have been the successes? What have we learned out of it? Conferences offer us an opportunity to renew ourselves and take decisions that are binding for all members. In other words, having done that as a conference, we then take resolutions that must take us forward, all of us, and those resolutions are binding to all of us. But because the conference can't meet all the time, can't meet all the time. You can imagine how big it is if we were meeting every month, to be serious. So because it cannot meet all the time, it then elects a leadership. If it is in the branch, a branch executive. If it is in the region, a regional executive. If it is in the province, a provincial executive. If it is in the national, a national executive. These leadership collectives are then given by the branches. The branches meeting in a conference delegate powers, their powers, to these executives. That in between conferences, these collective leaderships will meet, discuss, take decisions which could otherwise be taken by conference, implement programs and resolutions that were taken by the conference, work out detailed of those programs, and make sure that the structures below work very well on behalf of on behalf of on behalf of the conference. Otherwise, the conference is the highest body that takes decision of the ANC. The only thing that conferences do not delegate downwards, only thing, what is it? Who remembers? What is it? What is it that these collective structures cannot do? elect. I've got an answer.
Yeah?
I've got an answer.
Yes.
The power to elect members. The power to elect leadership is a particle of the answer. That is part of the answer, but just a particle of it. What is collective leadership? The chair is right on one small point, but it's part of the big answer. The big answer is that these structures cannot interfere or discuss or change the constitution. That is the issue. It is the constitution that the conference do not delegate. The constitution acts as a guide to all of us at all levels, but we can't change it if we are not in the national conference. That is why in the national conference, one of the items that is discussed first is the amendment to the constitution, because it can only be the national conference that can discuss that. Even then, it takes into account the principle that in the process of the 5 years, where have we seen the weaknesses of the conference or things that need to be changed? Because it is only the conference, and it comes to the point that the chairperson was making, because it also guides how you elect even the National Executive Committee. That's why you cannot proceed before amending the constitution if it has to be amended at all. That's the only item they cannot delegate. Conferences. That one becomes only the conference that has a prerogative to discuss that one and change it if it wants to. The point I was making is for us to be aware of ourselves that conference is the final authority. But because it meets for a few days, it then takes that authority, leaves it with the provincial one, for an example. It will leave the authority with the new leadership that will meet and take decisions and do everything on behalf of the conference. Exactly. That's what I was saying. Nothing just sebenza le Gauteng. Sebenza on behalf of the conference. Ingakho nje if umuntu uyabheda asivele sithi siyamxosha namhlanje. Sithi yathini conference, i-constitution, silandele i-constitution. Uthi i-constitution ithi uma yenzeka kanje senza kanje. Comrades, this conference confirmed that the ANC is a living organization with vibrant structures rooted among our people. It confirmed the value of debate and the importance of organization renewal. The point I'm emphasizing here, comrades, is, and I think the chair made this point, that if we don't have at times different points of views, we'll not be human beings, we'll be robots. Only robots cannot have differences. Because we look at things from different angles. That debate allows us to listen to the debate, the logic, the useless debate, because other people can stand but challenge into pegale and they're going to agenda in the scenes card. but that once you have engaged in the debate, you must come to a conclusion. Conclusion you must come, because it means you must understand and appreciate the logic. Or even if you have a view, you feel strong about it, once the majority is not agreeing with you, submit. Very important that you always watch that the majority of our branches feel like this on this issue. If you think they're wrong, persuade them, make them to see they're wrong. And as far as I know, ANC branches, if we are correct, they will see the point, they will agree with you. But let us say they don't see the point. Submit, agree with them. Don't then, after that, go around saying, but wrong, but that is not wrong. No. So we are economy wrong. My bad, see, we now bet kanye nabo. That's what helps conferences to move smoothly. If comrades are ready to listen to one another, are ready honestly to take the movement as the thing that we all work for, not us as individuals. In their very nature, conferences are not meant to divide us, but rather to unite us. That's the nature of our conferences. They are meant not to divide us, but to unite us. So it's wrong for us when we don't agree to say, so you are declaring war to a comrade. An unnecessary war. Just making comrades to have headaches, stomach aches, back aches, instead of helping the organization to be healthy. So you can't say so. You can say, we'll meet there to solve this problem in the conference. Because you are now going to start comrade njalo lo akho comrade wesilima makuyisilima sakithi sisifihla ngemva sihambe sibheke phambili. Because there is an expression in Zulu, and I'm sure nangesiswathisho njalo ukuthi akho silima esindlebende kwabo. Yebo, awukwazi ukuthi ngoba isilima sakini sinendlebende engaka busihamba usiphethe kanje ebantwini uthi ake nibheke uyafihlwa isilima sakini my bad umuntu fihla. Differences and contestations in the ANC are not new. They are as old as the ANC itself. Differences and contestations in the ANC are not new. They are as old as the ANC itself. The outcomes of every ANC conference must seek to rehabilitate us back to the timeless values of our movement, which include but not limited to unity, selflessness, sacrifice, collective leadership, humility, honesty, discipline, hard work, internal debates, constructive criticism, and mutual respect. These are values that the ANC holds high, which we must all hold. What do I mean when I say the ANC, the contestations and differences are as old as the ANC itself? In his first conference in Mangaung in 1912, for the position of the president, there were 3 candidates. 3. Among these 3 was Ubano Kumbla, John Dube and Nongena and Makhat. Just learn the lesson. Just learn the lesson. Let me tell you the lesson. Makhat came from the Transvaal. It's a very huge delegation, very big. Even this Mpumalanga was part of the Transvaal. We talk, say, Eastern Transvaal, in the Northern Transvaal, in the Western Transvaal. A huge delegation. He could have won. But because they understood the challenge and the reasons why a comrade should be elected, he came to persuade his delegation not to elect him, but to elect John Dube. Sisengawenza lokho namhlanje. Makhat, a great leader who could have been the first president, understood that the unity of the organization was important, firstly, knew that Dube had the capacity to start to be the first president, and he knew that the time was coming that one day he would be elected as well as the president. And indeed, the next president was Makhat. You can imagine if he had divided the organization then, what would have happened? He earned more respect from the members of the ANC because the elections of individuals to take this delegated authority must be elected when the delegates of the branches have discussed, firstly, policies, resolutions, programs, and only when you know the size of the task, you must then look at the comrades. Who are the comrades who can implement this? But it is not everyone who can do it. Who? Shares. Shares. It is not a comrade who sings better than all of us. That one must be elected to lead the choir. Nor is it a comrade who speaks fluently more than anybody else. It is a comrade that you know he has what it takes to lead the organization. That was the logic of our great leader from Pulugwa, Makhato, Mapoko Mukhato. A great leader who had an experience to lead even before the ANC, as well as Dube and others. It is not me. They were not like, I have to be. Kize ngifuna ukuhlephula abantu embuthweni ukuba bamlaba. Abantu bombutho nkosi yami. Akubona bakho. Let me underscore that the unity of the ANC is sacrosanct. Not only for the survival of the ANC itself, but also for the stability and cohesion of our society in general. I can tell you today, I know people argue against this. South Africa would be not what it is if it was not for the ANC. We shaped the ANC, we shaped South Africa from 1912 by agreeing to liberate ourselves. That was part of shaping the South Africa. We consolidated our ideas in 1955 and clarified to ourselves and the people of this country what type of society do we want. And also clarified our decision that for us to liberate ourselves, we are prepared to die. Now, no one can come here and argue that the ANC is not important, that the ANC was not built in 1912 in a South Africa that was colonized. So, to the ANC, unity of itself is important. Unity of the people of this country is important. It is in this context that I will remind conference of what Isitwalandwe, President Nelson Mandela, said in his message to the Kabwe conference in 1985 in Zambia, when he was still in Robben Island. This is what he said with regard to the unity. And I quote, "Unity is the rock upon which the African National Congress was founded. It is the principle which has guided us down the years as we feel our way forward." In the course of its history, the ANC has survived countless storms and risen to eminence partly because of the sterling qualities of its leadership and partly because each member has regarded himself or herself as a principal guardian of that unity. All discussions, contributions, and criticisms have generally been balanced and constructive, and above all, they have been invariably subjected to the overriding principle of maximum unity. To lose sight of this basic principle is to sell out birthright, to sell out our birthright, to betray those who paid the highest price so that the ANC should flourish and triumph. unquote. Sizwe kahle. Ngishayisa kakhuluma ikhehla. Let me just repeat this paragraph for you. Lalelani kahle. In the course of its history, the ANC has survived countless storms and risen to eminence, partly because of the sterling qualities of its membership. Membership of the ANC is not just quantity, it's quality. And partly because each member has regarded himself or herself as the principal guardian of that unity. Nizwe kahle. Kukhuluma Madiba on the question of unity, that each and every one of us regards ourselves as guardians of this principle of unity. Akasho ukuthi we need to or we are supposed to. He assumes sonke sinjalo, we regard it as our principal, you know, where babo. Many years later, we reaffirm our commitment to Madiba's words and his message of unity, which reigns true even today. Comrades, as delegates from various corners of the province, on your shoulders rest the hopes, dreams and aspirations of our people in the communities that you represent. But I no must Latin. No man ngabe sehlanzeni noma ngabe seKhatsibanda ahlangene abaholi yonke into izolunga. Uyabona? Bayekele kunini. You are carrying in your shoulders the hopes, dreams and aspirations of the people. But ngeke isilahle ANC. Into zethu zolunga. This is indeed what distinguishes the ANC from any other political parties, as a real movement of the people, deeply rooted in their hearts and minds. It is us, comrades, that must make the people feel this movement belongs to us. After all, the ANC was not established for ideological purposes or for friends. It was established for the people of this country. It is their organization. We are the only organization of all of them put together that was established for the people of this country. Not by people who were angry or people who had a particular ideology, but people who were colonized in this country. Umbuto wabantu, people's movement, this one. And therefore people are not wrong to place in the shoulders of the ANC their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations. What we need to do is to be conscious of that fact, that we carry this on our shoulders, and therefore we cannot forget the people. This conference, therefore, took place as part of the broader struggle of changing people's lives for the better. As Amilcar Cabral said, one of the greater African leaders from Guinea-Bissau, he said, and I quote, "Always bear in mind that the people are not fighting for ideas, for the things in anyone's head. They are fighting to win material benefits, to live better and in peace, to see their lives go forward, to guarantee the future of their children, unquote. Very concrete, very practical, very clear. People are not fighting for the ideas or philosophy, no. All they're fighting is that they must have a better life, and that their children and children of their children must have better life. Therefore, the outcome of this conference for our people is that the ANC must emerge capable of fulfilling their legitimate expectations of a better life. The people of the Mpumalanga looked to this conference for answers on how service delivery can be accelerated so that they can all have water, electricity, housing, and decent sanitation. We dare not falter, because the ANC, as a liberation movement, is the only hope for our people. Without us, they are hopeless. Ngabalaleli wena abantu abakhuluma kakhulu abavela ku TV njalo, because they've got nothing else to do. They are running no country. They are doing nothing. All they do is just to make noise. Chwa, 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 chwa. We carry a responsibility to govern the country. And that's why we should not worry about their talking. We should do work, change the quality of lives of people. That's a critical point. Let me conclude by reminding you that next year we will hold the local government elections. All of us must work hard to secure a resounding victory for the ANC and therefore for the people of this country. We'll secure that victory if we do lose. We'll secure that victory if we do not lose sight of the task we face of improving the lives of our people where they live. This means that the ANC in this province must work harder than ever to support the local government spheres, because that's where the people are. We should remember that local government is the most important sphere of government because it is the closest to our people. People judge the performance of the ANC through the local government services. They don't judge it in many things. Do we have water? Do we have sanitation? Do we have electricity? That's how they judge the ANC. So if I'm a councillor, I must know that theoretically I am the last level on the ground, understood to be the smallest. That is theory. Practically, I am the one who carries the biggest burden of the government. And therefore, I need to work harder than somebody else who is either in the middle or on top. Theoretically, they are very big. But practically, abenzi lutho nabantu, abakhulumi nabantu every day. That's where the matter is. Not so. People want water, electricity, good roads, refuse removals, and decent housing. That's what the people want. That's what the councillors must do. That's what the local government must do. Thina sibashayela umthetho ukuthi enzani kanje, nenze kanje, nenze kanje. Yibo labo kufanele ukuthi benze. Akufuneki ikhansela mayisikhethiwe ikhukhumala igcwala indishi. We are all servants. We are all servants of the people, but it is more pronounced at the level of local government. Well, they meet with them. If the council is not greeting its people in its constituents, it means the ANC is not greeting the people. That's what it says. But if the council greets people, goes to their funerals, goes to their weddings, ask them why is the window broken, helps to fix the window, then that is the ANC the people know. They carry more responsibility. If a councillor does not attend the funerals, the people say the ANC is not attending funerals. But the councillor represents us. When I talk about the councillor can be a councillor general, it can be a councillor who has been given a position of a mayor. He's a councillor. I'm talking about the entire leadership at that level. Let us make the ANC look wonderful, happy, loving, respecting. It must come from us as individuals, given those responsibilities. ANC again. Good morning, figure cards of vote. But abantu hayi ningaze nizela thina siyabazi sizobavotela. Babaxoshe besazi ambani. Ngaphandle mabeza nemali. Niwatshene ukuthi thatha imali uthengele ingane kodwa uyovota right. Ningayali futhi uxoxele ku-branch ukuthi bekufike banginika imali engaka. Thengele ingane zami impuphu. Nkulungile. Angishongo lutho ukubona ngithatha imali. Kodwa uyazi la uvota khona? Khongolosi. Because ungayixoxe leyo ndaba leyo ukuthi unikwe imali uzosuka ucabanga ukuthi onile ufihle uzudideke engqondweni. Ixoxe bekufike iphathi ethile leyasinika imali mayiningi kakhulu uyabe nama comrade nihlukanisi. Yebo. Yeah, distribute it. Because we are here for the people. We are not here for money. We are here for the people. Uma besiphi imali ngokwabo lokho. Iningi mosimali yabo. Siyalela nasithatha. Kodwa sibike che banginike imali. Banginike imali kodwa incane ngizothengele. Enginike eningi namhlanje ake sihlukaniselane. I-decision ethathwe ibranch lozothola lokho lozothola le yebo. We should not lose sight of these important services by supporting our municipalities, and the ANC councillors are always, not just when we are close to elections, always. What I'm talking about, you must go to funerals, is when there are no elections, but there are people of the village gathering there. Ubabingelele bonke before uhamba baqhawula ngiyaphila bokodwa bakwethu isimo sinjani kodwa likhulume phela ekhanseleni leni noma singanalutho siyobona isipatanisani uyabona nje bayabona abantu wetukela awufike nje uquvela phana uthula uthi du sokuphela ne-funeral awusavaleli izwe uyovalesha uyahamba awukugudi nokuthi ubungekho musi noma ufika late uthi hayi ngibambezele umngcwabo ngala ngingcwabe kanjani kodwa uma kuthiwa kushoniwe fika kuqala uthi liphi isoso noma ngabe ushintshe ucela enye imoto comrade ushiye kwazi ukuthi hey u-ANC unathi. After all, we are part of them. We're not separate. Our councillors receive a lot of criticisms. We should also check to what extent we as movement provide them with the necessary support and expertise to undertake their work and improve on this in the next term of local government so that services can improve. We must get an overwhelming majority in the elections that will enable us to continue implementing our progressive policies in all three spheres of government. As we prepare for next year, we must know that an election campaign has to be run through a highly organized machine of the African National Congress. It has to have as its defining characteristics a good message, a good narrative, an impeccable public presentation, and most importantly, highest levels of organizational discipline. It has to be based in practice on the slogan, one message, many voices, which is an expression of maximum unity. Once we do so, one message, many voices, which is an expression of a maximum unity. If we all speak in different places, but we convey one and the same message, that expresses in its own a maximum unity. The center must hold at all material times. Very important. Once the center is not holding, nothing can hold. Defend the ANC, defend democracy, defend the gains of our revolution as members of the ANC. Don't allow people to say there's nothing that has happened since 1994 when you know we have done so much. Don't tire to tell them we have delivered. Nilingi sabe fundis. Akasho umfundisi ukuthi ngoba leli iBhayibheli ngangifunda ngalo ngisashumayela ngalo ayisekwanele manje. Uma ekhuluma ngesonto ngathi akakaze akhulume ngeBhayibheli. Akube yithike lapho ngenkululeko. Siphinda phinda into esesiyenzile. Njengomfundisi baze baphenduke. Nakumfundisi ukushumaza uzuphenduke. Nathi sibaphendule babo khongolosi. Yebo. I wish to congratulate you again on the phenomenal success of this conference. As I said from the beginning, it is a good thing. It is a lesson to all of us. This is how Congress should be. I'm confident that all of us here will step up and discharge our responsibilities in a manner that makes us worthy of being the guardians and the custodians of the legacies of Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo. Comrades, this has been a conference that makes not only us, even the ancestors of the ANC happy. there was not much debate about, do you know what we always argue about in conferences first? Credentials. Did we call it debate? Which indicates unity. Thank you very much for representing the ANC. You must continue in this way. And I'm happy that the chair said it to me in the briefing, and I think said it here, that even those comrades who have had problems, a stance has been taken that we are going to engage and discuss with those comrades. They are going to be part of the organization. That's what we need. And we are going to assist you to ensure that you have a Mpumalanga that is united. Well done. Amandla! Awethu! Matla! Karena! Matimba! Kaina! All power! All power! Oh, Hindelenzela esihambayo. Oh, Hindelenzela esihambayo. Oh, Hindelenzela esihambayo. Oh, Hindelenzela esihambayo. So sangana ngefri washu Mandela kubalandeli bakhe wathi so sangana ngefri oh Hindelenzela esihambayo oh Hindelenzela esihambayo oh Hindelenzela esihambayo oh Hindelenzela esihambayo washu Mandela kubalandeli bakhe wathi so sangana ngefri so sangana ngefreedom Hindelenzela esihambayo Hindelenzela esihambayo Hindelenzela esihambayo Hindelenzela esihambayo washu Mandela kubalandeli bakhe wathi so sangana ngefreedom washu Mandela kubalandeli bakhe wathi so sangana ngefreedom day. Umshini wami, umshini wami, umshini wami, umshini wami.